Hello guys, this is Brian, and I'm here to tell you guys today about how to build Pickaxe and how I think the platform can be used for a lot of really cool applications. So let's get started. So I'm very interested in different fictional characters and writing stories about them battling, right? So I built this agent with Pickaxe, and I can kind of just show you how it works. But so far it's a pretty basic thing, and it just gives you some prompts about like some characters. And this is cool and all, but the next step that everyone's just thinking about is how we can possibly monetize this and how to really make this a product that you can't just make with ChatGPT, right? So this is a really cool story that is Batman fighting Sherlock Holmes, or you can literally put in any characters, it can give you an output. But, how do we take that next step? So we have this really cool um, thing that we just added really recently called Wingman. And Wingman is our kind of personal agent that can help us really take our building to the next level. Because we could manually configure a lot of this stuff ourselves, and we probably will later, because Wingman is not perfect. So yeah, let's type a prompt. So I want the bot to not only create, a story, but I also want it to, you know, include image and also, actually research online about the characters. It seems to just be pulling like the names and just coming up with a story. So we want to make sure it's accurate and the quality of output is high. So I'm gonna start writing the prompt. So okay, so I just sent in the prompt, and it's good to be specific with the prompt. You don't have to say a Google search action or like look at the actions beforehand, but it's always good to sort of give it specifics of what you want it to do because there's a lot of different ways that your prompt can be interpreted, right? You just want to give it exactly what you want. And I'd say Wingman is very powerful for not only setting up your agent in the first place, but also working upon your agent. So like improving it. So yeah, for now I'll be back when this is done. All right, so I we just came back. I waited like like a minute or two, and just came back with a response. Wingman is very powerful because it takes in the context of everything in your workspace, kind of everything that you can see, knows about the actions that exist. You see it like I knew about Google search, knew about GPT images, and like kind of problem solves on its own. Um, and yeah, it said it added it. So let's go check it out. So yeah, let's see what we have here. Let's say we have Goku versus Naruto, and let's see what type of output it can generate. Um, I'm gonna check what actions it has. It seems to be added the GPT images action, the Google search action, which is really cool. Earlier, I attached knowledge base. This is not the focus of this video, but this knowledge base is something that you can add. Depending on your agent, you might want it to have more information about, for this agent specifically, I added some stuff about how to write the story and some references about like looking online. Okay, so it seems to have researched some stuff about Goku and Naruto. It's created a really cool story. Thunder over the Valley of Broken Gods. They're talking to each other and sort of fighting, including their like realistic characters. This is really cool. And let's see if it can build upon what we have. Okay, so it seems like Wingman didn't completely execute the moment. I mean, it told us some visual moments, and it seemed to have searched online. So this link is like a real link, right? It's a real link. It's not like a dead link, but it's not perfect, right? Not perfect. So, um, we're gonna, this is why we iterate with Wingman, and you can also edit the prompt yourself. So I'm actually gonna edit the prompt myself because sometimes I think that Wingman is very powerful, but sometimes it's powerful to just edit it yourself. So it seems like um, they add some key moments after writing the story. Call the generate GPT's action to create the story, the comic, pass the prompt. Okay, I think that it knows what to do. I just need to give it like extra guidelines. Sometimes put it in bold like this is very effective. You can just say, make sure you use the generate GPT images action to create an image and please give it to us after the story. Yeah, I think he just got, okay, yeah, you can save it. So you can add the prompt, but also a very important thing is to edit the trigger prompts. Trigger prompts will tell you when to activate. And if you really like, since this is such a like a use case where you always want an image, you can just say like always is, or like never, in this scenario, you always want to use strong vocabulary. Yeah. So we're gonna save that, and then we're gonna send the prompt again and see what kind of output we can produce. And this is always an iterative process. Wingman is very good, and I encourage you to use it. But there's also like some of these micro adjustments that you can sort of make yourself to sort of get the job done. Let's see how this goes. Okay, seems like this time it created the image, which is probably like the most important part of the our prompt. And this image is very high quality image, man. Like it actually looks like real Goku and Naruto, right? Um, but it didn't follow the instruction the to generate the story beforehand. So this is something that is very important. And I think, there's a lot of ways to write prompts. You can ask Wingman to write the prompt. I've spent a lot of time optimizing prompts in the past. I find that the step by step is very important, but you do need to be very clear what the output actually is. So, because like sometimes you tell the AI to write something, right? And most of the time it will return it to you, but sometimes it thinks that you're telling it to do something like internally before it like returns something. So basically, in layman's terms, you just want to define like the output. So I'm just gonna add like an additional step here called like output. Uh, and we already have this part, but you want to basically make it so that part one of your output is the story. The story of the battle. Then provide your image. Citations at the end. So we're gonna try this again. Let's actually make it a very iconic one. Let's make Superman versus Batman, a classic, right? And let's see how it performs now that we've changed the prompt. And I'll get back to you once we're done with that. Okay, so it seems like we got an output. We have story, and we have an image. See, so we got what we wanted. This is a really epic image, and almost like people could pay for this. So yeah, we've essentially kind of finished the agent, at least to what we got. So now next step is, how are we going to monetize this, right? Will this cost us some money to run? And we want to make sure that we can sell this to people, maybe our friends, maybe our family, or people on the internet that might be interested. A lot of people are interested in, telling people watch death battles or talk on power scaling forums about who's going to win, and maybe you don't want to contribute to that. So let's see what we can do here. So I'm gonna tell it, we really good job with improving the agent. Now I want to make a landing page that looks pretty good. Not too robotic or AI, but that really embodies character of my tool. And also let's try to add some monetization or plans, so we can charge for the battles to be generated. So I'm thinking about maybe like $9.99. There's a free plan with like maybe 5 uses per month, and then there's like a $19.99 plan. Actually, probably like let's charge like 14.99 for like let's get like 30 uses. Okay. All right. So, you want to be, you can be descriptive with this stuff like that. You can obviously change yourself as well. If you really wanted to, you could go to access groups and start setting it up. Um, but sometimes it's good to delegate, especially for the landing page. There's custom code that you can add that you can also ask ChatGPT for. But this is kind of like our like, you know, wired in ChatGPT because LM models these days are like a big thing that you'll know is context is very important for its success. Right, knowing the right context. So ChatGPT is very powerful, but it's very general purpose. It doesn't know everything about Pickaxe. Kind of knows some stuff that pick up from the web. Maybe we've asked it in the past, but really, the wingman is just wired in and knows it's our personal sort of ChatGPT assistant. So I'll let you know, and we'll come back once it's finished. Okay, so we got an output from the AI, which is really cool. Wingman and told us about the landing page that he created. So let's go see what he did. Damn, that's pretty good. I will say this is a very good page, and it really kind of fits our style and what we're looking for. So, yeah, and you can like even click on this, kind of start your first battle, and talk to the bot. Um, it's pretty cool, and it's even set up, the free fighter plan you have to sign up for. Let's go sign up for it, and mhm, and you can even get the champion plan. So become a champion, yes, and then at least to check out the page that they pay for. So yeah, so this is like, a really cool way to set up and start getting money with agents, just have an idea, come forward with it. Um, I did have to make some fixes after this. Is not immediately like what it produced, but it was very minimal. I even asked, I can show you right here. I even asked Wingman to help me out because even I get confused. So I was just like confused why it wasn't set up properly. And there's a lot of customization you can do. You don't always have to ask Wingman. You can just go into access groups, member access groups, scroll down, and you can kind of see your deployments, champion tier, upgrade monetization. You change the price anything you want, 16. If you want to lower it, 10. You can change the uses too. So there's a lot of freedom to set it up how you want. And this is really the power of Pickaxe, I'd say. Not only can you build such a cool workflow, but you can integrate with Stripe and start earning without worrying about how that works. So happy building, and I hope this guide was useful for anybody that is not too sure about how Pickaxe works or best practices for building. And feel free to reach out with any questions in the comments below. Thank you, and hope you enjoyed the video.